Welcome to Boise Song Talk. I'm James Coberly Smith. Give me just a second to set this guitar down, if you would, please. Thank you. Songs. What we're going to be doing on Boise Song Talk is we're going to be speaking with a number of the great local songwriters about how they write their songs. Now, they're all great live performers, and I encourage you to go out and see their live shows. However, we will not be emphasizing performance here. Instead, we'll be speaking with them about how they write their songs. Now, I'm going to start this thing off with a short version of a song of my own, and we're going to go over and meet tonight's special guest. Hey, it's good to see you again. It's been a long, empty highway. Great to see you again, and it's good to be out of the rain. As we face these days ahead, the sun won't always shine, but I remember days like this one all the time, all my life. Hey, you've got the world in your lap and your hand on my heartstring. Oh, I wasn't ready for that, but it's sure good to see you again. We've been here before, and we keep on falling backward through these open doors. I just could not love you anymore. As we face these days ahead, the sun won't always shine, but I'll remember days like this one all the time, all my life. Hey, it's good to see you again. It's great to see you again. Now, let's go over and meet tonight's special guests. There they are. Catherine Merrick and Sam Merrick.
Yes.
Yes, yes, to verify.
Nailed
yes,
it.
Yes, yes.
Nice song, James.
Yes, yes.
I like that.
Thank you, sir. Well, it reminds me of you guys. It does, that's correct. It reminded me of you. Well, looky here, I got my wire sticking out here. Jeez. Anyway, these two fine folks are a member of the band AKA Bell.
Correct. True.
They have a great album out called Disappearing Night. Mm-hmm. And Catherine, the first time I ever saw you perform was at Pengilly's. Right. It wasn't a formal show. It was some loose situation where you got up on stage without a guitar and you were singing. I know, you wouldn't remember it. Yeah, it was great. I was taken by how great of a singer you were, but also your stage presence. You were just into it. I mean, that was it. I just went, the stage presence. It really, really took me in.
Oh, thank you.
Sam, first time I saw you was actually with Hill Folk Noir.
Right.
Playing all kinds of cool stuff. And then, of course, I've seen you with AKA Bell at a number of different shows. And the thing about you two to me always is that your chemistry on stage is so complimentary. The guitar parts you always play support the song. You know, I always said that you're both songwriters, and he doesn't own that sometimes, but he's a great songwriter. And I think the way he plays guitar is informed by his awareness of songwriting. So let's start with Catherine, because we got both of you here. Catherine writes more songs than you, so she's going to get more attention.
That's all right with
Plus,
me.
she's Catherine.
Hey, she's Catherine
That's
for crying
right.
out loud.
And why don't we just start, give us a sense, Catherine, of your musical history, how you got going and all.
Well, my family's pretty musical. My grandmother on my dad's side was a concert pianist, or classically trained pianist, and during the time of Prohibition, she actually had an all-female jazz band.
Really?
We used to tour around. So when I was growing up, she was always forever getting my hands and pulling my fingers apart and saying, "You should be a piano player." And I was never drawn to play the piano because it hurt.
Well, yeah.
Bad, but you know, then you start playing guitar and that hurts too. So, but my family loved listening to music. My parents listened to wildly different music. My mom liked show tunes. My dad liked jazz and country, and I had older brothers and sisters who were listening to rock music. So all this stuff filtered in.
A real variety.
So yeah, I love just about everything.
And you picked up at some point and went to L.A.
I did. Well, I played in bands in Boise while I was growing up here. A couple of bands, and after doing a couple of years at BSU, I decided that I was going to move to Los Angeles to pursue a career in music, and never really got around to do it. I wrote, but I never actually put a band together until I moved to England. So that's where it really all kind of kicked in.
When
So a late starter.
When you first went to L.A. to pursue it musically, were you writing songs before you did that, or were you going as a singer, or what was the concept?
Mainly as a singer and lyricist. I did play guitar at that time. I wasn't. Yeah, I'm a self-taught guitarist, and I hadn't really discovered that I could use the guitar as a tool and combine the two things. I mean, I kind of did it, but not very much.
Yeah. And Sam, you also, I'm picking up on the LA thing because you both ended up there. You both went there
Right.
in your early 20s to pursue music.
Right.
Sam, you got into a big record deal situation with Contrast, all kind of stuff, which was tremendous experience. We won't have time to go into all that tonight.
Good.
But enough said. I think we just did go into it. But you two were there together in L.A.?
Yes.
Yep.
And you were good friends then?
Yeah, we
Very
were
good
roommates.
friends. Yeah.
And you had known each other from high school?
That's right. Yeah, we went to Coast High together.
And then you took off from L.A., you went to England,
I did.
and you thought he might follow you.
Well, I expected that to happen.
But then, so you were in England, and you were doing music there, bands and all this stuff. The two of you kept in contact.
We did. Yeah, back when people still wrote letters, I wrote a lot of letters. He occasionally would send a postcard.
That's
But it was the
mildly
words. It was the
overstated.
words that he put in those postcards that, you know,
Well, that's
made
Just
up
the good
for
stuff.
The loss of not having a 16-page opus to read.
That's right. I remember you said before that you wrote most of the letters, but when he wrote one, it was a good one.
Yes.
See, and this is the reason I bring all that up. Normally, it wouldn't necessarily tie in, but in your band now, you write songs not too often, but when you do, they're really good. You're writing good songs all the time. So I think the letter writing paralleled the way the songwriting of the band went.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I'd say
Well,
that's
and so I
correct.
think we're going to title this episode, AKA Bell, A Love Story. Well, I tell you what, you feel like giving us a tune there, my friend?
Sure. Well, do we want to do a full one? Do you want to do Austin Calling?
Sure.
Okay. Austin Calling was written after I'd come to visit Boise for the first time after like 17 years, and we realized that there was a bit of a thing going on, and he was still playing in Hill Folk Noir, and they were going off to South by Southwest, and so this is kind of based around a phone call that I received when I was in England and he was in Austin.
Is that right? Look, see?
All right. Austin calling. Good afternoon, the curtains are closed. Your hotel room, I couldn't sleep. You bought beer and got lost on the Austin street. You don't keep a diary, the pictures you take. I can't see, sound so close. I feel weak, wish I was on the Austin Look through window number one. Cousins are playing games. They knew when they were five. Look through window number two. A lonely child. Wishes for another life.
I want what I've been shown. I trade everything I own. I don't want to be alone. I want to go home. I want what I've been shown. I trade everything I own. I don't want to be alone. I want to go
Will you think about me? Think about me. Will you think about me? Think about me. See me in your dreams on the Austin street. Will you think about me? Think about me.
Will you think about me?
Think about me, see me in your dreams on the Austin street.
I want what I've been shown. I trade everything I own. I don't want to be alone. I want to go home. I want what I've been shown. I trade everything I own. I don't want to be alone. I want to go Austin calling.
Austin calling.
Austin calling.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love getting to hear this just acoustically like this. I mean, it sounds great on the record, all that stuff, but geez, it's just beautiful with these acoustic guitars and the voices. Geez.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. I got a front row seat. Austin calling. All right, I'll go straight to that. One of the things that to me is so neat with your lyric writing, you did it in this song. Take a line like, I don't want to be alone, I want to go home. They're so simple and direct and honest. And a lot of your lyrics are like that.
Yeah.
And yet, you can do some very, let's go over to Painted, Faded, Tainted, and we have lyrics very cool and quirky, like gifts he gave, stolen nails and old wires. I mean, that's a cool group of words.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, oh, and also in Painted, Faded, I love my heart's still sore. Because people will say my heart's broken, it's bruised, but I haven't heard sore before.
No. Okay.
So how do you come to, let's go to Painted, Tainted, these unusual things. Do you usually write your music first or lyrics, or what? How does it spark up for you?
Most of the time, for speaking for myself, it's words first. Just because that's kind of the habit that I got into before I played guitar. I would write poetry. I tried to match it to other people's music. One of the first bands that I was in, I wrote the lyrics to, and somebody else was the guitar player. So that's probably where that habit comes from. Occasionally, music will come first. Sometimes they come together, but it's mostly words first.
Interesting. When you're getting lyrics, is it when you're deciding I'm going to write now, or you just get inspired?
Unfortunately, a lot of times I get inspired when I'm at work.
Okay.
So
Best
I'll be
hours.
doing something, and God, I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a line, but sometimes the line's good enough that you can build something around that. And occasionally, if having the time to have something actually happen altogether, I don't know, it doesn't happen all that often. Just because,
Sure.
well, I don't know, for whatever reason, different situations, but
Yeah.
it has happened. And one of the songs that's on the record was really weird. It happened probably within 24 hours. I wrote the lyrics, but I knew in my head how it was going to sound, and it really has not changed very much aside from adding instrumentation to that song. But the words didn't really change very much, and the melody didn't change very much.
So with Austin Calling, for example, you had the lyrics first?
Actually, no.
That was different.
That started out because I was just sitting in my apartment going
I see.
over and over again, and it
Okay.
was probably 3 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
So yeah, that was.
So that one came, did you start getting lyrics at the same time as the music?
Yeah, probably as I played it, a good 20 minutes or so, and started thinking about, and it was probably right after the phone call. So.
Gotcha. Oh,
It
yes.
probably
Oh,
happened
yes.
really quickly. I don't
Oh,
know.
yes. Back to this guy. Yes. Yes. Well, that's okay. That's very interesting. Okay. And when you're writing these down at work, when you get them, you write them down somewhere, right? And,
Yes.
and hang on to them. And
Yeah.
if it's, as you said, it might be one sentence. What do you have, a pen?
I
You
try to keep a notepad with me, but sometimes
Gotcha,
it's on the
okay.
back of a receipt or some
Yeah,
stupid
all right,
scrap of
all right.
paper.
But you
that's-
keep track of them.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh, I have a house filled with.
So a song lyrically will usually be built then. It won't usually just, bam, come because of, like you said, real life. You're
Of late, probably they're more built. But actually, a lot of the songs on the record came really quickly when I was in England, and most of them came fairly quickly.
interesting. Well, if you'll excuse a second, we're going to turn our attention over to young Sam over here for a second. As I've said before in the intro, every time I see you play, I usually come up to you, great guitar parts, because you play right in the gaps of what Catherine's singing. You also, on your electric guitar, you will play, and then you'll let it sustain.
Yeah.
It's so, very few people do that. That's, to me, your songwriter awareness. You let it breathe. Most of us, we gotta be working all the time or nothing's happening. But you,
It's one of those epiphany sort of things. I remember going from always trying to make sound to like, it's easier and it sounds better to
Yeah.
just let it ring for a little bit. Sometimes. I'm glad you pick that up.
Oh,
'cause I do think that's important to not play.
Well, but once you stop strumming, it's still music. There's still
Yeah,
music. It keeps
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
You know, when did you start writing songs roughly?
Boy, it was, right about age 18 or 19, I think, back in the 80s. And,
Okay.
when we moved to Los Angeles, I wanted to pursue music. And it had never occurred to me, coming from Boise, Idaho, in basically the 70s, that you didn't need some anointed certificate to become a songwriter. It just never occurred to me. But I went down there, and so I thought maybe I'd get in a nice cover band with a weekly gig or something. And everyone was just writing their own songs. And I said, wow. People whose records I had purchased, and I assumed back then, because I purchased a record, they were rock stars. They're actually living down the hall with some roommates, and that just sort of brought it all home that, no, there isn't any great process you have to achieve before you can be let loose to write a song.
Right.
Just go for it.
Well, given that from the songs of yours I've heard, I think you're a great songwriter, as well as Catherine is. If you had to give one piece of advice to a songwriter, what might that be?
Well, I like hooks. I always think it's good to, throw the listener a bone, or I'm usually the listener. If I can point that song out, if there's some reason why I'm thinking of it after, and so I like melodies and stuff. So I think, there's a lot of hook tools, the snappy guitar riff, or, using dynamics to just drop everything out and deliver the line, catchy phrases, catchy melodies, repetition is a good one, but give the listener something to hang on to. A lot of people, do great without the hooks, but that's just my personality. I like a good hook.
Well, do you maybe have a little Sam Merrick song you might throw at us with one of these?
Yeah. Actually, we'll play Half of the Devil Loves You, which is a song I played in Hill Folk Noir, and now Catherine sings, so it's better now. And this one employs most of those. I guess that's the other thing. I don't mind using all the hook tools. 2, 3, 4.
Hanging out day after day. It's not your fault. You're never to blame. Your mommy and your daddy and your job and me. The lamer it gets, the less you can do. More and more.
The devil loves you. The devil loves you. The devil loves you. The devil loves you.
The devil
loves you. The devil loves you. The devil loves you. The devil loves you. The devil loves. The devil loves. The devil loves. The devil loves you. Bum, 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 bum.
Very cool, very cool. That was on the Hill Folk Noir album that I first heard it. I asked Travis, I said, what is that song? He said, it was Sam's song. I said, well, that's great. The use of humor in your songs particularly, I've seen you use humor very effectively.
Yeah,
which is
I do that.
And the song you have on the album, the Disappearing Night, your song is humorous there.
Right.
And in fact,
at
the guy.
least I'm stupid. It's
That's
called.
right. At least I'm stupid. In fact, the guy in that song could have been the guy who got the had the stolen nails and old wires.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
That's the album is so tied together with these themes of relationships coming back together and all. It's a very cohesive thing. And musically, too, I'd be listening, for example, to Disappearing Night. By the way, that song completely snuck up on me. I was just walking around one time and I just started singing this, reconnect me. And I started going, because it doesn't come at you fast. I was just like, oh, and the words were important,
They are.
And it stuck with me. I really got past me. Some advice. Do you have some advice for?
My advice would be kind of based on the advice that my dad used to always give to people. He was a writer and he taught writing. And basically, it's you have to keep writing. And it doesn't matter what you write. A lot of it's going to be not so great.
Sure.
But you just have to keep writing because some of it's going to be great. And also, you've just got to be honest and true. You can't say, well, I want to write like that person. You can only write like yourself. And
Well, how's about we get another one of those tunes out of you as we head toward the close? And by the way, we'll be sure, hopefully, that we get the website or the connections, Facebook connection site on the show for on our graphic, if possible. That would be great. All right.
we're going to do a little swap over.
AKA Bell, look at him move those instruments. Here, you want me to hold that guitar? I'll hold that thing. Jamie, you hurt
I
stuff.
got it.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us, James.
Let's
great
roll,
show,
baby.
by the way.
So this song was actually written on guitar, and I learned how to play banjo afterwards. So it's called For a Fool. I may not be the smartest girl you ever met.